Hello, this is Vincent Dino from Career Planning and Development. Today we're going to be going over the interview process, in which I call Meet the Firms. This is after you have submitted and your resume has been accepted, that the company or industry or organization now wants to have you come in for an interview, get to know you better, the next step in securing the job position. And sometimes that can be in person, and sometimes it can actually be over the phone or online. So there's different ways that you may interface, but this is going to kind of show you the steps as if you're going into a face-to-face interview. Now, the first thing I'd like to mention is my contact information. So just in case you might have some questions or comments at the end, please take a moment to jot these numbers down. I can be reached during these hours and be happy to further assist or answer any questions that you might have regarding this presentation, or anything actually related to career development and career services. So this is a brief overview of what we're going to be looking into. We're going to be talking a little bit about social media, the importance of taking notes, knowing where to go, your time and date and location of your interview. I want to ensure that you take care of some basic needs that we often overlook, such as sleeping and eating, what documents to bring, what time you should arrive, dress and hygiene, speech and body language is also important. And then actually questions from the interviewer and questions that you're going to want to ask them. The first couple of bullet points we're going to go through rather fast because I really want to get down to the last one, building our way up to the interview and what is the dialogue between you and the person interviewing you. So the whole idea of the interview is to see that if you're the right fit. And it's mutually that they have to see if you're the right fit for their organization, and you have to determine if you're the right fit for them. So it's a mutual environment where determinations on both sides will have to be made. Social media, I often say this in almost every presentation, regardless of topic, is that your resume is out there right now in all kinds of social media that you voluntarily put out there, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, just different things like that. So make sure social media is working for you, not against you. And if there's any of your personal social media that may be questionable or debatable, you just may want to either block it, filter it. Just be aware that employers these days, they will oftentimes, once they receive and accept your resume, before they have you come in for the interview, they're going to go search your name on social media and find out what they can find out for free, and then come in and have the appointment with you. So when the phone call comes, you want to be prepared to take notes. So, obviously if you're driving, don't answer the phone, but bottom line, phone call rings, you answer the phone and they say, hi, we have your resume. We want to move to the next step. As they're talking, if you have to say, hold on, make sure you get paper and pen. And the number one thing you're going to want to do is write down the person's name you're talking to and how you can get a hold of them. In the event that you cannot make that interview ahead of time for some reason, you want to call back to that person and tell them what the situation is. So make sure you get a name and a contact number. And then, of course, they're going to give you the location and date of the interview. After that, you may want to look a little bit into the corporation, the company, find out a little bit about them, because a common question that may be asked is, why did you apply here? What do you know about us? What do you think you could bring to our company? So it's a good idea to take some time prior to the face-to-face interview and learn a little bit about them. Also, logistically, know where you're going. Know if there's a parking lot adjacent to the building. Know how to get there, the best route. Some areas might have toll bridges. That's going to slow you down. You might want to have exact change. Know that maybe the building, you may want to ask this, is it a secure building? Is there going to be a vetting process to enter the building? So know how to get from point A to point B. Don't leave it up to the day to be surprised or to get lost. So gas, food, and lodging. When I talk about this, and these are may seem very common, but if you're driving yourself, I would make sure that your tank is full the night before, because you don't want to take time in putting gas in your tank the day of, and you surely do not want to have a gas smell all over your hands. When it comes to food, make sure you get a good breakfast, but not eating right before you get there. Nobody wants to smell the onions on your breath or see the food in your teeth. So make sure you got a good breakfast that you are comfortable and your stomach's not growling and you start getting anxious because you're hungry during the interview. And do make sure you get enough sleep the night before. You don't want to go in looking tired, and there's a lot of things besides the way you look. Not getting enough sleep will also affect the way you perform in the interview. One other thing I mentioned here is bathroom. Yes, just make sure you definitely use the bathroom before you go. You don't want to, rush in and have to use it. Although I do talk about when you arrive 5 to 10 minutes earlier, when you identify yourself, just take a moment and maybe step into a bathroom just to freshen up. No cell phones. I would just say do not bring it, leave it in your car. If you have to have it in the off position. People at this point of the slide presentation will say, well, can we put it on silent? I wouldn't even risk that. Just turn it off. Bring it with you because you may need to call them if you get delayed. Bring it with you because you're going to want to tell your family and friends about the interview. But when it comes to walking into that office, definitely turn it off. Documents to bring in addition. So you've already submitted your resume online, possibly. Always come in with about 3 copies of your resume. 1 for you to refer to as they talk to you, so you have a hard copy for yourself, and about 2 more resumes just in case another interviewer comes in, or in fact they didn't get the opportunity to print your resume. Be prepared to give them a copy so they don't have to rush to the printer. Show them that you're thinking 1 step ahead. Other documents that you may want to bring is anything you referenced in your resume that you can prove on an official certificate, such as maybe it's CPR, or an award or a decoration or some kind of certification. Make sure you bring the original and then a Xerox copy of that original, just in the event they ask. And also in your resume at the very end, in my resume class, I say, if you got room on the bottom, simply put references upon request. What this will do is when you come in and walk into the interview, if they in fact want to contact some of your references, some of the people you might have worked for, be ready for about 3 copies of those. So if they ask, by the way, you mentioned resumes upon request, do you have them for us? You can have those. And the way you're looking at this folder, that's basically all you need. Don't go in with a lot of stuff in your hands. I would say this folder, a pad of paper, and a pen is the most that you want to have in your hands. If you have a purse or a laptop bag or something, that's understandable. Pad and pen, as the interview is going on, you may want to be ready. As they're talking to you, there may be a question that comes up. Write down questions that you might have. In fact, I recommend that you write down a series of questions before you even start that day. That way you have some questions to ask at the end of the interview. But as they're talking to you, there may be another question that comes up. But there also may be certain data bits that they're giving you that you may want to jot down, such as pay rate, hours worked, those things. And it looks like you're really in tune and engaged if you're taking notes as they're speaking. Believe me, there will be somebody on the other end doing the same. I say arrive 5 to 10 minutes early. You want to get there early enough to be comfortable, not rushing into the building. Arrive 5 to 10 minutes early, go up to the reception or make your presence known. This is Vince Dino. I'm here for the 11 o'clock interview. And they'll say, oh, thank you for coming. And if they don't offer you anything, you just may want to say, hey, I'm going to go run and use the restroom or hit the drinking fountain real quick. What this accomplishes, you're there ahead of time. You've given them, they know that you're in the building, but you've removed yourself because sometimes hanging around gets a little bit uncomfortable. And there may be another candidate in the waiting room, can be kind of uncomfortable. And also they may feel like they're being rushed if they have a candidate currently being interviewed in the other door, behind the door. So arrive about 5 to 10 minutes early, excuse yourself to use the bathroom or get some water, come back about 5 to 30 minutes before the timed interview. Dress and appearance. So here's an important one. Not every interview is going to require a suit, nor should you wear a suit. In that, when I was saying research that corporation or company or organization, kind of look into it and see if you can get on a public website that they host and see what their employees are wearing. You probably want to dress 1 degree above that. So if they are a collared shirt environment, you may want to wear a collared shirt and a tie. If they wear blazers, you may want to wear a suit, just maybe 1 notch above what the average daily working person would wear. Don't go overboard, but certainly don't go so casual that they can't get past the image of what you're wearing. So here's some good examples, and just keep in mind you want to be comfortable. Don't wear anything brand new, because you're going to have price tags on it. They're going to look, it's going to look awkward. It may not be comfortable against your skin. Shoes may be too tight. So wear something that you're comfortable wearing, that you're accustomed to. Now, the body language in an interview is also important. I'll just capitalize off of two things here. Maintain eye contact, and if handshakes are being offered, make sure that they're direct, firm handshakes, and let them conclude the handshake, and you can get a feel for that. This may sound kind of corny in a way, but these are some of the things you may want to practice with a friend or relative. Eye contact, talking one-on-one. But overall, just take a moment to look at this slide. Look at some of the recommendations for good and versus bad body language and body posturing. Before I go any further, I just want to let you all know a lot of this information is derived right from the internet, that even after this presentation that I'm giving, I encourage you all to just go on YouTube, search some of the stuff just on a Google search, get as much information from different entities as possible to reinforce some of the things that you're seeing here. Then moving on, what to wear. We're going back a little bit, like 2 slides previously, but the one thing I liked about this slide, we talk about what we're wearing and clothing wise. We talk about hygiene. We talk about body posture. One thing that I do want to say, I've been in the room where a male or a female has come in for an interview with an overabundance amount of perfume or cologne. So, guys, I want, either a tight beard or clean shaven, no food in your teeth, nice hair, nice hands, nice fingernails, everything's clean. But if you're the type of person that likes to wear aftershave or cologne, go real mild on that day. I would even recommend, just, whatever you use in the shower, and maybe just some soothing lotion, hand lotion, or baby oil, but something that's very subtle and neutral. Don't go nuts on cologne or perfume. Now, this is the important part I want to talk about real quick, and I only have a few more minutes. So this is where we're talking about asking and answering questions. One thing that I do want to point out is when you're being asked questions, make sure that you are not taking a lot of time to answer it. Just come straight into the point. If the interviewer pauses, but you've answered the question, just smile at them. But sometimes they're just waiting to see how you respond to questions. Some of the most common questions are here that you may be asked. What can you tell us about yourself? Just take a moment to review this slide. Why are you no longer at your last job? Number 4. I would just say because I've fulfilled the capacity and I'm ready for new experiences. You never want to say anything negative about that past job. And when they ask you what your areas of weaknesses are, don't say, I'm an overachiever or I'm a workaholic. Just be honest with you. If computer skills are a weakness, just be honest. Just if whatever that, everyone has a weakness. And I would be prepared for this question above and beyond all others, that you pick a weakness that is understandable but doesn't disqualify you from the job. Questions that you may want to ask the employer are right here. So what kinds of people do you usually look for? How will I be trained and evaluated? I would recommend have at least 4 to 5 solid questions to ask them. That shows that you are prepared. That shows that you are in it too, and that you're just not going to jump on the first thing. But I highly recommend have at least 4 to 5 questions ready to go. And if in the event that you've asked any questions, or you wrote down any questions on your pad of paper, definitely bring those up too. And then after it's all said and done, you need to put all this together and ask yourself, is this the right job for me? Is this, you have all the information from them, they have all the information from you, and now you get a moment to ask yourself, are you capable, willing, and passionate to commit to this organization? At the conclusion, is it the right fit for both of you? Is this going to be something that you're going to really want to do, something that that's going to enhance you, and are you bringing stuff to them that they also want to see and what they're hiring for? So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this was really informative. If there's anything else, like I said, that you want to know about interviews or resumes, please do not hesitate to contact me directly. Have a great day.